Hi, my name is Amy. My student number is 1705412, and today I'm going to be going over and demonstrating the 3 different foundational teaching styles used in physical education, being the command style, the practice style, and the inclusion style. So the first one that I'm going to be going over is going to be the command style. So this one is going to be the most teacher-centered approach. This is the one where the instructor gives clear instructions, the participant will follow step by step, and the learner follows exactly as is. This is most useful for beginners and just getting to know the skill, being able to watch and listen from the instructor, and then complete on your own. The second one that I'm going to be going over is the practice style. So this gives more control to the learner. This is usually where the teacher provides a demonstration with instructions, and then the individual is able to go and practice on their own pace. So this is usually good for novice athletes or individuals that are still learning the skill but are not fully beginners. And lastly, I'll be going over the inclusion style. So this usually involves peer learning. So learners usually can work in pairs or groups, and they're giving each other feedback and a set of cues and sometimes a checklist to help make sure that the skill is being executed properly. Okay, so the first teaching style that I will be doing today is the command style. So this one, I'm just going to give basic instructions to my participant, and they'll be able to execute the skill. So then I would instruct my participant to stand with their feet shoulder width apart with a slight bend, have their fingers into a shape of a triangle on their forehead, and then when they set the ball, to extend their arms fully out and then come back. And then the second teaching style that I will be instructing today is going to be the practice style. So this is where I would give the same instructions with the directions, and then letting them go off by themselves and then practice at their own pace. So then I would instruct my participant with the same instructions as before. So having your legs shoulder width apart, a little slight bend in the knee, and then you're going to be making a triangle with your fingers, and you're going to be extending your wrist and your arm all the way. But with the practice style, they can take it at their own pace. And then the last teaching style that I'll be going through is going to be inclusion style. So this one is going to be where the teacher and the instructor would have the participants go in a group or go with just a partner and do the skill back and forth. So in this case, I would instruct my participant to find a partner and to set back and forth. And this way they can have a little bit more autonomy in how they want to execute the skill together, and also receive peer feedback if needed. So then we would just grab a partner, and then you can set it back and forth. And then you can give feedback if needed.
I can't see.
So for part 3, for the reflection and conclusion, so each style supports learners in different ways. When we're talking about the command style and it being more of the teacher-centered approach there, I would say that it's best for beginners, especially when teaching a new skill, especially like setting, where hand positioning and body movement need to be very specific, especially at the start. So giving a clear model and demonstration while executing this skill is most beneficial there, just for beginner athletes or individuals. When talking about the practice style, I would say it's most beneficial for intermediate learners who are already understand the basic technique and just need time to refine it. So being able to take the instructions and then practice by themselves is going to be best for individuals that already can grasp the initial skill and just can go at their own pace, take their time, and then practice in a way that's most beneficial to them. And then when talking about the inclusion style, I would say that it works the best in team environments or when working with more advanced learners, like varsity players could be an example. These are people who can give and receive meaningful feedback from each other and evaluate each other's performances without necessarily having a instructor or coach intervene. It's also great for leadership development and team bonding doing it this way. So just having the more advanced athletes working in groups, I think that the inclusion style would be best for them.
Okay, and now I'll be interviewing Tyson Bazik, who is a hockey coach for the Southside Athletic Club. I have already received the verbal consent to conduct this interview and will only be viewed by KIN 106 teaching team. So the first question is, in your experience, which teaching style do you use most when coaching and why?
I think that just depends with the level of which kids I'm teaching, if they're new to hockey or if they played before. I think command works very well if they're a AA or AAA level, just because they're used to it and can kind of tell them what to do. They go off and they get it done. But with practice style, I think it's more important if they haven't really learned the skills or the drills yet. That way, like, you get step by step and you let them learn as you go. I think that's how you develop as a player.
Perfect. And then my second question, how do your athletes or students respond differently to the various teaching styles?
I think inclusion usually is the best, especially if it's like a competitive drill. Obviously, you want them to do it themselves, but you're not going to get better unless you want to compete against your friends, against your teammates, and then obviously yourself. So I think that's number one, how they react. And then with practice and command, it just depends. Once again, as I said, number one is how used to it or how developed are they in that certain skill set.
Perfect. And then my third question is, can you share a moment when switching teaching styles helped improve or gain confidence in the athletes you were working with?
I think going from a practice style, this is specifically with hitting hockey, when we're teaching kids how to absorb a hit against the wall or put themselves in a better position behind the net or in center ice. It's like those are the things you want to make sure kids don't get hurt with, is practicing that, teach them how to lean against the wall and absorb it and bounce off of it. But then switching directly to a command style, just telling them, hey, go do the drill and come back to me. Like, if you get hit, you learn your lesson. I think that's number one, is kids learn best when you just put them in a situation. And if they get hurt, but they're not going to do it again. And unfortunately, fortunately, that's the reality of a lot of my coaching, at least.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you, Amy.